I am not arrogant. I am not arrogant when it comes to administering first aid. I'm not arrogant when it comes to fixing cars, submarines, nuclear power stations, that type of thing. My friends will testify that I am not arrogant when it comes to electricity or plumbing or home maintenance. I'm not arrogant when it comes to computers, software, fixing little problems. But when it comes to religion, I am fucking arrogant. I am more arrogant than you can possibly conceive of. In all your wild imaginings of how arrogant I come across, trust me, it doesn't touch the actual arrogance I possess that has been building up over nearly half a century. Slowly, but with increasing conviction. You cannot imagine how arrogant I am. To try and help you imagine it, I want you to imagine that you've got a small child or a little brother, and they sit on the potty for the first time, and then they come screaming to you that there's a small brown monster in their potty. When you laugh, that's the kind of arrogance I have about religion. It's not that I know whether there's a God or not, it's just that I know that all of the religions on the planet are shit. When I say shit, I mean that in the not very true sense of the word. People say truth, you can't handle the truth. Well, in the case of the religious people, it's doubt. You can't handle the doubt. I cannot tell you how arrogant I am. I can't find the right words. I really can't. You don't know the history of my life. You don't know that when I was a kid at school, I used to lie so much. Not because I was cruel, not because I was trying to big myself up, but just to see what people would believe. And guess what I found? Most people will believe anything. Now, that just because the majority of people will believe bullshit doesn't mean that on its own makes religion false, but it does mean that the fact that the majority of people call themselves believers, that becomes a null point. It becomes completely explicable and only to be expected. I have made kids believe that I had an artificial heart without a scar on my chest. I made one kid believe that I was an alien from another planet. During the course of my lies, in my lying days, which I think went on till I was about 16, I think I was mourning the loss of my lost home planet. Can't remember what fictitious name I gave it, but tears actually came to my eyes when I was telling another kid about it. I mean, no one was more surprised than me. All I had to do, in all lies, was believe it myself temporarily. That's all I had to do. And if you're telling a particularly emotive lie, if you believe it yourself, you'll move yourself to tears. And trust me, brothers and sisters, nothing sells a lie better than tears. If you can get some tears out your eyes, you are 90% sure to win. Unless dealing with an atheist and a skeptic. They'll just laugh at you. I cannot tell you the seances that I messed with, and the Ouija boards that I messed with, and the glasses I pushed around, scaring the shit out of people. I got people so scared, they said the glass flew against the wall and smashed with paranormal, supernatural speed. It fell off the table. I pushed it. People screamed, people were in tears. The headmaster had to interview all the kids in that room to calm them down because the hysteria was running wild across the school because I tipped a glass over. I've had kids believe that they saw a huge flying bat with a wingspan about 15 feet across, and it was, as I said in an earlier video, just a few pebbles running down a greenhouse roof, a vague shadow on the floor. And if you get people in the right suggestive state, they fucking freak. And the same thing happens in religion. It doesn't have to be fair. Sometimes this religious rapture thing can I was going to say carry you away, but really it teleports you. Pew! You're gone. And many of you will never come back. Many of you will never know what you were, where you were. You'll never understand how you came to be. If that was the only problem, then I'd say it's not a problem. You're missing out on something, but we've tried to tell you. If you didn't listen, that's your fault. That's not why I object. It's because you're infecting people with this mental handicap. And that's what it is. It's not a madness. It's not craziness. It's not even stupidity. It's none of those things. But it is a mental handicap. Mental of the mind handicap, as in slows you down. Maybe even immobilizes you. Religion is a mental handicap. I know when I'm talking to somebody who knows more than me on any given subject almost immediately. I also know when I'm talking to someone who's trying to fake knowledge, if it's knowledge that I possess and they don't. And I also know when I'm talking to someone who's as ignorant as pig shit. And it's not just your claims and the mythological smeg that you consider to be evidence that you think should move us, but we see straight through. It's none of that. I mean, it is partly that, but it's your questions as well. You have no conception of how revealing they are to people like me. They stink of complete ignorance. As soon as you ask one of your scientific questions, you sign a declaration saying, I know jack shit about science. But unfortunately that's only true for people who know a bit of science. I think you know that we know it's shit, but you keep doing it anyway because you know that for ignorant people it doesn't stink so bad, and for kids it smells quite sweet. And that's why a lot of us fight you. You're mind cripplers. That's honestly how I see you. Those that speak out on YouTube, the quiet Christians who I've known in my life, they would never guess that I was making videos like this on YouTube, because I always got on great with them. But they never pulled the shit that you're trying to pull on YouTube. Now, some of you know that it's shit, but I consider that type of person less religious and more damaged. We know that you don't know how much we know and how we know it. And you confirm it every question you ask. It's not arrogance, it's knowing. It's not arrogance if you know that your opponent is talking shit. How sure am I that the universe wasn't created? Well, if you're talking about an evolved technological civilization that tuned a false vacuum fluctuation or monitored the weather in hyperspace and saw a storm coming and turned it into a perfect storm, 99 point something. I mean, scientists today are even talking about how to go about trying to create a universe in the laboratory. It's not an experiment that I'd recommend unless the universe was approaching heat death, but the fact that we're even talking about such things, maybe a civilization 10 billion years older could actually do it. However, if the question is, do I think the universe was, how sure am I that the universe wasn't created by Bible God or Allah? I have to say 100%. I have to. Philosophically it's indefensible, but if somebody asked you what percentage of certainty you had that the universe wasn't created by Bugs Bunny or Superman, you would have to say 100%, wouldn't you? And that's why I say 100%. You're asking me to believe in a cartoon. If it wasn't so sad, if it wasn't so damaging, I really would laugh all the time. Religious people seem very, very tragic to me. It doesn't stop them annoying me, but it is the tragedy of our species. If we are alone, what a lamentable position for the only intelligent species in the universe.